What is up, everybody? Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight for a special edition of the Tattoo Weekly, beaming out live from Paradise BYOB at Chimney Peak in Massachusetts. So if you guys are watching us on YouTube or Facebook or the Reinventing mobile app, let us know that the streams are working in the chat, or tag a friend who'd love to watch and join us. So also, I want to say that this has been a really great day so far. We started out earlier in the day with amazing speakers and a cool opening talk. I'll share some little recap footage later in the show. We also have Dan Maudsley joining us from New Zealand, which would be pretty cool for us to hear from them. He will be joining later in the show. And of course, we have Jake and Gabe beaming out from Jiminy Peak. I'm going to go ahead and bring their videos in and we can say hi to them. How's it going, you guys?
Hello, fantastic.
Hey, Lauren.
It's a fantastic week start.
Yeah, started off with a bang. I'm sorry, I can't be on this mic without holding it. Don't you just want to hold on to it?
I don't. I have no inclination to.
Oh, all right.
I'm a computer geek. I get to type.
Okay, I'm gonna hold it. What's up, Lauren?
Doing good, doing good.
Thank you very much for being on the other end of the BYOB here. It's awesome having people that are supporting and helping all the stuff happen.
Definitely. Awesome. Well, would you guys like to roll the intro before we get started?
Oh, well, do quick intros. Well, you should introduce yourself. Jake will introduce himself. I'll introduce myself and then we'll go, but we could do it quick and then do the intro.
Let's do it.
Sure. I also have the clip. If you guys would like me to roll our introduction, I am ready to go.
Go for it.
Got it.
Do it live. This is too far delayed to be useful.
All right. Awesome.
We got to work on that fade out. It's supposed to go like dun 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 dun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
I'm just testing to make sure this is going out on the Fireside Tattoo Network, but
It says live, but I don't see the video. All right, let's keep rolling.
People are watching. If you're in the chat rooms, definitely let us know that it's working for you, where you're beaming in from, and tag a friend. That was one of the things we should always be saying is, if you enjoy tattoos and you enjoy this, please tag a friend who also enjoys tattoos. Or
good point.
But only good tattoos.
Yeah, good point. Good point. It's fun. It's nice to be doing this live. I'm so happy not to be looking at a screen. I'm still kind of looking at a screen, but not entirely. It's great.
We should be looking at the camera.
Oh, all right.
So cool. Okay, so we are doing this really unscripted.
Yeah, I really don't have much to pitch other than where we are right now. I'm sure there's some fireside stuff happening, but let's let Lauren kick off and tell us what the order of operations is here. That's cool.
That sounds really good, guys. Well, the order of operations, I was thinking today we can kind of recap what happened and what went down at the BYOB for those who didn't get it. You can get your tickets yet for certain seminars. Between the next, Monday to Wednesday. We've got some cool stuff I've been preparing for tomorrow as well, which is interview edition number 2 with John Swerk. So if you guys didn't catch that first interview, definitely be sure to do that and catch us tomorrow to talk to John, which is really awesome. Otherwise, this weekend was the Milwaukee Tattoo Convention. I live in Wisconsin, so I traveled down there to check it out. Not too bad. It was very small in terms of the exhibition hall, much smaller than normal. The layout was different and it was just jam-packed full of people. So I guess overall, that's the main goal, is to have, foot traffic, I guess, for those types of events. And they definitely got that. So that was pretty unique. And otherwise, I didn't get to make it out to Jiminy Peak this year, just restrictions and stuff like that for me. But I definitely wish I was there with you guys and not looking at a screen.
Yeah. So you've been to a few shows recently. How did attendance of this one compare to some of the other ones you've been to?
Attendance was astronomically more in Milwaukee than the last 2 shows that I went to, specifically in Golden State. But the restrictions for those of you who went was kind of strange. You had to show your vaccination card. You had to show either that or a rapid test, which you could take on site for like $40. So I know a lot of people were kind of hesitant to get in. Foot traffic was low, but there were a lot of like really cool things to see, people to meet. I saw Jack Rudy there, BJ Betts, Jess Yen, a whole slew of other artists. So I think that turnout definitely could have gone the other way for foot traffic.
If you got an opportunity to chat with BJ Betts, though, that was a good opportunity. That was great.
Oh yeah, man. I didn't realize the type of person he was. So I spent maybe half an hour talking to him and Rob Job out of Good Guy Supply. A lot of great insight, a lot of great conversation. And I checked out his alpha markers. If you guys haven't looked into those are pretty cool. I think Big Sleeps has kind of like a signature set with them as well.
What are they? Like physical markers?
Yeah, they're pretty cool. So they're called alpha markers and they're kind of shaped, differently for freehanding and stuff like that.
Oh.
Yeah. BJ Betts, he has his own set. And then I think I'm not sure who runs the company, but I know Rob Job has been promoting it for him. So it's cool to kind of hear about the behind the scenes with where their heads are at with that. And I know one of the cool things I talked to BJ was kind of taking a step back a little bit from tattooing to more focus on other things, which is pretty cool to hear him and his perspective on, behind the scenes.
Yeah. I have his entire Tattoo Smart brush set. So it's like a lettering set and then also some brushes. And he has one called BJ's Favorite brush. I use it for to make all my stencils. So if you're looking at stenciling Procreate brush, BJ's Favorite, use the promo code
BYOB. We do have some people in the chat room that have said hi. Let's see here.
What's up?
Night Crow 85 is beaming in from Ohio. I hear you and see you 100%. Awesome. Chris says it's working here from Virginia Beach.
Oh, nice.
Crypt Rock is asking if they could ask questions about machines. This is probably one of the rougher ones to ask, but you can answer machine questions for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but you feel free to ask questions about machines. Who's from Virginia Beach? What was his name? Her name? Their name?
Chris Settles.
Chris, I was just in Virginia Beach like 2 weeks ago. We could have crossed paths.
I was in Virginia Beach like 6 weeks ago.
Oh,
but we could have crossed paths if we were
at the same time. Yeah, sweet. Yeah, absolutely. Ask whatever questions you come up with. We'll find a way. If we can't answer them, we have a lot of painters and artists out here that can probably chip in and help us out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say another cool thing I wanted to share with you guys was when I was at the Golden State Tattoo Expo, I met up with Ted Marks, and he was the one that I was kind of chatting to you guys about, like in our group chat with that first ever tattoo machine. So I snagged a couple of videos. I know you guys would probably be really interested in seeing those. So I'll share that.
A pen style.
Like a pen style. Yeah. Talked to him about how that worked out in 2009. He had been, boxing as a kid and had issues in his hand and always felt like that machine was so heavy. So he went to work. He put in over 1,000 hours in his prototype, and it's just pretty freaking impressive. I got to hold it in my hand and, feel tattoo history for what it was.
So was it ever produced, or he just built one for his own use?
It was produced. Yeah, it was definitely produced. He teamed up with someone and things kind of went a different way than he anticipated. So it wasn't necessarily the best thing in the world, but it's basically the type that you see every single place you look around.
Oh,
yeah.
It is pretty crazy. The shifts, and being here at Jiminy Peak reminds me there was a, through the course of the different conventions that we did, at one point there was like a 5 or 6 year stretch where we didn't come here, and when we came back, they had a box of sharps that they had kept in a safe place in the corner where no one could ever reach it. But the sharps, people didn't pick it up the 5 years previous, 6 years previously. And but when they came back, they were like, "Oh, we got to get that box." We're like, "Okay, well, we'll lug it around." And we had taken out all of the boxes already, and then we took this one last one and we went to go pick it up. I was like, "What the fuck?" Shit, and it was like full of like needles.
Oh, wow.
And it was like,
For
whoa,
5 years.
but it was like, and the shift in that 5 years. I remember the first year at Jimmy Peak, everyone was making fun of Cheyenne. They're like, oh, and I was like, well, I don't use any of it. But all of a sudden, 5 years later, everyone's on those fucking cartridges.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Do you guys want to see that video?
Yeah, please
show it.
Okay. Make sure the sound is on. It's not too short. It was just taken with my phone, so.
Gotcha.
That's it. In an old Sharpie body.
Don't mind the noise.
Good picture.
You want to tell me about it while I'm...
This is the first ever pin style machine created for tattooers, 2008. It came out. This is the first of the first. This was the first prototype. I used it. I put in over 1,000 hours. Max on motor. Here's some toothbrushes, stolen parts, hand welded with plastic, super glue, electrical tape, and just a whole bunch of belief.
Yeah, the noise was a little loud, but if you want me to replay that, I definitely will, man. That was just pretty rad to hear his story.
Yeah, no, we could hear mine. Just had a little bit of background noise. That's it's crazy.
Yeah, I spoke to him, I think he was going to do like a little, I don't know, documentary or a chance for him to tell his story with Franco from Bishop. I'm not sure if that happened or what, but that'd be pretty interesting for all of us to see, and definitely better video quality.
Yeah.
But yeah, it goes to show like there may be the best materials out there, and changes have definitely happened in the last, 10, 12, 13 years. But I mean, what he was using in his prototype it came out of his mind. That was a motor from a toothbrush. That was a Sharpie. You're seeing electrical tape, So if you have an idea, the innovation is really the biggest change.
Yeah. Yeah, that's super cool. And I'm sorry, what was his name again? I know you just said it.
Yeah, Ted Marks of NorCal Tattoo in California, Humboldt County.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah.
And you come across all kinds of crazy stuff at these shows.
You just never know. You just never know.
Yeah. It's wild that they just happened to have it there. Why did he have it at the show? Was he showing it or presenting it or something?
Yeah, he was going to do a video with Franco. So that's, I think, why he brought it there. I'm excited that he did, because I talked to him about it previously. But, it makes it all feel much more real when you actually see it in person and hold it in your hand,
Yeah, absolutely. Super cool.
Yeah.
All right. What are we moving on to here?
Well, I was going to show a recap of the day, guys. The audio is hard to hear, so that's up to you if you want me to go through with that. And then also in about 15 minutes, we'll have Dan Maudsley joining us as well to talk about, the current situation, the lockdown, and the upcoming pop culture art jam on the 12th of October.
Okay. Well, if the audio is bad, maybe we could because I really don't know what happened in the main stage room today, because I was running the seminar room. So maybe we could just, up to you. If it's rough audio, we could just recap it ourselves so people can understand it, or we can play. Sure.
Let's talk about it first, and I'll get the video loaded. So how's the weather? How are things coming in? What is the vibe? Like you guys can choose, to sit in the main stage or in the seminar room. How is that all set up?
The vibe's good. It's raining.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
New England. So I know everyone that made it out is having a great time. It's very fun. It's very relaxed. It's like Jiminy Peak in paradise. A little smaller than normal, but it's okay because it's a BYOB and not a art retreat or a gathering or nothing. Yeah. I've really enjoyed it so far. Like I said, I spent all day in the seminar room. I did presented a seminar this morning that is the first time that I've ever done this seminar. In fact, I was still putting it together last night in the room, and it went over well. I got some good feedback. And then right after that, we had Nick Mitchell's seminar, which was about caricature, his approach to caricature, which was really, really cool. He's so good at it. I mean, it's just like, and it was cool. He pulled a lot of, he showed a lot of reference, and then we would go through and we would talk about how we would, kind of
caricature that person, like what we might exaggerate. And then we would do real exercises where it was like, all right, well, just, you know, and everyone would draw, and then he would walk around and critique. And so it was pretty cool. Technically it was a little bit of a challenge because like just following him around and like watching him critique over people's iPads and stuff like that. But it worked. It was super cool. I think everyone got a lot out of it. I did. It was really awesome. It makes me want to do a caricature, which I've never really done. You know?
Awesome.
I've got the clips together if you guys want to check it out, just to kind of see if you hadn't or if you didn't sign up for the BYOB.
Yeah.
Let's roll.
Woman of favor will take me for a man. I'll act like a gopher, dig a hole in the ground. Act like a gopher and dig a hole in the ground. Love and understanding, they just can't be found.
A lot has changed.
Okay, so I'll voice over a little bit if you can't hear. We opened the day with a pretty great conversation from Jake, Haley Adams, Mark Lescarbo, Jesse Smith, and who's talking is Amy Nichols of the Apprenticeship Diaries. We moved on to an incredible chat with Lars Krutak. He's been studying all sorts of stuff. And he's published quite a bit about therapeutic tattooing, as you can see here as well.
It's fun. We're watching it on a little bit of a delay, but these are great little recaps.
Sure. So Lars spoke at about 2:00 today. Just killer great. And he will be back again on Wednesday for an archaeological
No,
panel.
he will not. He was doing today because he can't do Wednesday. But
okay.
It's going to be a great team of people on Wednesday. It's
Hell yeah.
The lineup's out of control.
And he does have some sort of exhibition or something in Philadelphia that's going to be right around the time of the Philadelphia Tattoo Expo in February. So you guys have to stay tuned and check out that exhibit. We also had Nick Mitchell, and he showed, you know, like Jake was saying, a caricature seminar today, which was really cool. Here we can kind of see what he was doing with Beetlejuice and the difficulties, or, you know, the process behind that.
Yeah, that Beetlejuice design is super cool. So all of them were. That one was really cool. We're still lagging though. We haven't gotten there yet. It's like a really long teaser. We can get. All right, here we go. Oh yeah, we're seeing the Beetlejuice now on our end. Yeah, I thought it was cool how he used so much reference, but really didn't use any of the reference literally. You know, he just like, it's like the idea of the reference, and then he kind of completely made it his own. Super cool.
And if you didn't catch any of these seminars live, you could get the replays at courses.reinventingthetattoo.com. Just saying.
We also enjoyed Jake's seminar today. In this little clip, he's talking about color and shapes, values, edges, color.
Yeah, that's all I ever talk about. My wife, shapes, values, edge, color. She's like, do the dishes. Shapes, values, edge, color. Yeah, this was this is actually footage from our course that is going to new course, Fireside Simplify, that is going to launch super soon within the next several weeks, and it's all about my process for simplifying my life, my design process to make tattooing a little easier after all these years of fumbling.
Yeah, well, you know, it's better now than ever.
Right.
So awesome. Other than that, what is going on tomorrow besides the interview with John Swerk that we can look forward to?
So let's see. Tomorrow, I don't have the schedule in front of me, so we're doing this by memory. But
I have another seminar at noon. It's my last one, and then I'm off the clock.
I
think.
Nice.
Noon. I'm doing my Find Your Style seminar at noon tomorrow. You can still get it at Reinventing the Tattoo courses. Find Your Style seminar.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you can't type that in to get to it, but if you typed in courses.reinventingthetattoo.com and then searched for.
Oh, you're asking
that,
a lot.
you could, yeah.
You're asking a lot. All right. You could do that. You could type that in and stream it live. Hopefully tomorrow. Today we had a little bit of an issue. We were hoping to be able to hear and communicate with people on the Zoom call or virtually, and we could not. We couldn't hear those people. But hopefully tomorrow, I think what it was is everyone was on the Reinventing app or watching it through Reinventing and not actually on Zoom. So hopefully tomorrow we can share the Zoom conversation so people can Zoom in and communicate with us. That would be awesome.
Cool. Well, I pulled up the schedule just because I was a little bit iffy on what's going on. Of course, we've got Mark, which is awesome. He'll be doing the Let's Talk Tattoo live podcast. Tattoos with Mike DeVries. 3D tattoos will be going on. Thea Duskin.
Got a little preview of Mike's process, and
rad.
When he showed me some of his things, I was like, oh wow, that motherfucker, that's pretty clever. I was like, I gotta go tell fucking Nick Baxter right now. And wait. I was like, Mike, I want to fucking tell Nick Baxter right now. He's like, don't do it, man. I'll talk to him. I'm gonna go to another session on my chest. He's got a fucking sick ass chest piece from Nick. Did you ever see that? You know that piece? I don't think it's like a chest piece. It's a chest piece, and it's fucking sick. It's great. It's like the color's really orangey. Looks orangey to me. I got color deficiency, but anyways, yeah. So Mike DeVries has got some pretty good processes, and people that take that are going to be like, oh shit,
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
What time is that one tomorrow? Since you have the schedule up.
That'll be at 12 p.m. Eastern time.
Right, what else we got going on tomorrow?
Well, we've got a lot. Thea Duskin, who I believe is in the house, Mixed Media Art and Tattoo at 2:30. Then we've got Oils with Christian Perez, Lettering with Damon Tesh, maybe a happy hour going on. I'm not too sure about that, but that'd be cool. And the Big Kahuna Vapors of Morphine tomorrow night, 6:30. And
then right after that, Guy's going to be
Oh yeah, that's for sure going to be awesome to watch.
We're doing all of that over at the tavern.
So, okay.
Oh,
which will be fun. So we can get out of this room. And I mean, it's a great room, but
yeah. Also, and then a little bit later, I know Dan is in the waiting room now. We'll have him come in and just give us a little update. But if you'd like, I can kind of show you a little bit about that pop culture art jam coming up.
And do we have his some of his portfolios that we could show off? Or
Sure. Yeah. Let me go ahead and pull them up.
Great.
And so Dan has been kind of stuck right now. He's a great tattooer, but let's just say stuck because of what's going on with COVID. It all sucks everywhere, but in particular when you are on lockdown, right? I feel like we had it easy in the US, if you ask me.
Oh yeah. It wasn't even lockdown. It was like go home and get your family sick.
Yeah.
If you lived in my neck of the woods in the South, it was just a suggestion.
Yeah.
It's one of the amazing things about having friends, all around the world. It's like other places like lockdowns, like you're not going out of your house.
Yeah.
Like you can go out to the grocery store for an hour, like straight to the grocery store and back from the grocery store. Otherwise, fucking no.
And by the way, only one family member.
Yeah.
Don't go with your kid or your wife. Just you.
Exactly. Yeah. So Dan's in that right now. He does a lot of pop culture tattoos, as you can see. I'm sharing. Well, actually, can you guys see this, Jake and Gabe?
We're like a 30-second delay because we're watching on YouTube.
Oh, got it. Sure. Well, I have his portfolio. You can see his Beetlejuice, which kind of reminds me of what Nick talked about today. And he works at the Black Mark Tattoo, which is an awesome shop.
Oh, yeah.
Which I can pull up that too before we let him in. So what we're going to be doing on the 12th is a pop culture art jam. He's got some guests, which are not from around the world. Josh Bodwell, Mitch G, Jack Douglas, and Carly V.
Awesome.
So if you guys want to check him out, Dan Maudsley Tattoo. And if you want to check out the Black Mark Tattoo in Melbourne, actually Australia, not New Zealand, as I said, they have some incredible work. I know that we all recognize the name. Incredible work coming out of that shop. So really excited to hear from him and kind of hear about their current situation in comparison to ours. I'm sure he is jealous right now about the fact that you guys are somewhere and not at home.
With other people.
Exactly.
We're a longer delay than I thought. We still haven't seen the...
Oh, we should probably click the play button.
Oh,
that helps, guys. Usually helps.
Good Lord. What are we doing? Thought we were professionals. Looks like we have a lot of comments on the chat, on the Fireside YouTube chat.
Cool. What's going on there with everybody?
I just see a lot of comments, but it's too far for me to read. Gabe, can you
A
read?
little bit of some technical questions about some
Okay.
tattoo machines, configurations do you use for Numa for color packing?
Oh, okay. Okay. It's a lot of specific stuff to, if we're about to do an interview, maybe I'll tackle some of that stuff more towards the end if we want to.
Or maybe we can even include Dan and see what his perspective is as well.
Yeah, definitely about some of that stuff. And also real quickly before we start the interview, I'm doing these live streams. I don't know if you noticed, Scott and I have been doing these live streams for the last few weeks, and I'm doing a little more technical talk then because I'm actually tattooing and it's easier for me to demonstrate and show. So it's a little trickier to do that stuff here.
Bam. Oh, we just started a whole new topic. You are tattooing and telling people what you're, because it's like, otherwise other assholes are telling people what to do on YouTube, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. That's I mean, yeah, I'm not,
Sorry,
I'm not going,
say less experienced tattooers.
right.
Or?
I'm not doing full on tutorials. I'm tattooing. I'm talking about my artistic decisions mostly, but then inevitably people are saying, what's that needle configuration? How can you tell when this is happening? And so you get into that a little bit. We're looking at a way to kind of gatekeep that slightly, but I'll be honest, at this point in time, with so many places you can walk in and buy tattoo gear at physical stores with no license.
If somebody's going through the act of asking to learn how to tattoo better or to learn, like,
they're going to find some answer
to actually learn. So, I mean, I don't know what to say, except for, it's hard to not teach people if, you know, otherwise they're doing fucking bad things.
Right. We call it the information age. I don't know if you know.
I thought it was attention economy, but
okay.
Attention economy. That's awesome. Well, yeah, Jake, I think that that realization has changed and probably broadened in the last few years. It's like, well, it's better than spreading no information at all and seeing the, you know, the negative impact that has, or being open about it and doing your best. You know, you've got a really great channel, something that I've watched for years. So it's pretty cool for me to just, you know, be in the show with you. And I applaud all of your efforts so far. I know there's a lot that's changed since you started, but some of those first episodes are gold. I love them.
Thanks. Except for the audio, video.
I like I also watch my own with the same kind of sick pleasure.
Like, oh, yeah. But no, great stuff. Awesome.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And we'll look at some of these questions. What are we? Did you say that we had our guest in the waiting room? Are we ready?
He is. He's here, and I'm sure he'd like to jump on. Here we go.
How can you jump virtually?
Well, we'll find out.
Jump.
All right, Dan, we have let you in now. If you can hear us, your video is off. Yeah, your video is off, but you're live beaming out all over the world and from Jiminy Peak, Massachusetts, which is on the Upper East Coast of the United States. Awesome. And do you meant you should flip your camera this way so we can get your whole
Or horizontal.
Yeah, perfect. So everything look good on your guys' end? Gabe and Jake?
From us, in 30 seconds, we'll tell
We'll tell you in 30 seconds.
Cool. Easy done.
Awesome. Well, welcome, Dan, to Paradise BYOB edition of the Tattoo Weekly. We're joined by, we are joined by Gabe Ripley from TattooNow, and as well as Jake Meeks of the Fireside Tattoo Network and a tattooer out of Tennessee.
Hey, nice to meet you.
It's pretty intense down there. It's like another lockdown for it's been like 8 weeks.
Yeah, something like that. I think we now hold the world record. Unfortunately, it's not a great record to have, but most time in lockdown. So there you go.
And what we were just talking earlier about how different countries have different definitions. So it was like, what does that mean? Does that mean you're literally not leaving the house? Can go for walks or?
So, yeah, I mean, it depends. It has changed a little bit. There's never been a time that we couldn't leave the house and at least exercise or, go for a walk or they're sort of discouraging people from sitting around in groups in parks and things like that. But for the most part, it's, there's always been the opportunity to exercise. At the moment, it's up to 4 hours of exercise a day, and different rules depending on obviously whether you're vaccinated or whether you've had 1 dose, 2 dose. It all kind of varies a little bit at the moment, which is a little confusing, but hopefully we're on the way out. So
That's incredible. So you're actually allowed a certain amount of time per day for exercise, like outdoor exercise?
correct. Yep. And now you can have picnics and things like that with, I think it's up to 5 people from 2 households, as long as you're vaccinated. So obviously the way out, as the way the sort of government sees it at the moment, is trying to get as many people vaccinated, and in the hopes that that will sort of slow the spread a little bit. I don't think it's going to be something that's going to go away, that's for sure. So it's more of a living with it thing now. So they're just trying to get people, I don't know. There's much debate over here, of course, as there is worldwide at the moment, but without going into that too much. But it's it's no work. That's the biggest sort of killer. I think I've had about the equivalent of a year off in the last 18 months. So not ideal.
What have you done, first off, just to stay creative, bide your time, and generate income, if there's any way to generate income?
The income stream's a difficult one. The government had some subsidies at different points in time, which last year were quite helpful. This year, they're not quite as helpful. We're basically on the equivalent of it's kind of like double dole payments, I guess you'd say, at the moment. So, which is better than nothing. It's it's certainly better than sitting around totally unpaid. It sort of keeps a roof over your head. But in terms of creativity, I've redone my website. I've all new sort of branding as such. New logo, all that sort of thing. A bit of painting, bit of drawing. I've done a bit of graphic design kind of work for a few different companies, which has been cool. It's a little bit outside something I normally do, but a few sort of friends approached me to do some logos and designs and things. So that's actually been kind of cool, something really different, something I wouldn't have normally gone to for an income stream. So that's been kind of cool. Definitely always something to keep you occupied. It's just obviously it's very hard to do what we all love doing, which is tattooing, but plenty of other things to do, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's nuts. So it's pretty exciting that you're helping us with some of these virtual events, though, in the time here.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about the it's like a geeky kind of a draw. Oh, pop culture.
Yeah, pop culture. Pop culture is the so I predominantly do pop culture tattoos. I'm not sure if I'd call it a specialty as such, but it's just definitely something I'm more well known for. I'm definitely probably a bit of a nerd at heart. You probably don't have to look too far to see a bit of pop culture paraphernalia in my workstation here. I've just come into work for this meeting. So,
you like get your phone out and like move around and show off some of it, or?
I've got my iPad here, but I can probably
Don't worry about it then.
I can probably flick my phone on actually, but I'll do that in the process here. I mean, I've got, I try to keep my workstation. It used to be more sort of pop culture crazy, but I've moved spots, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to have a bit of room this time round. But I've got a lightsaber here, plenty of Star Wars stuff. I'm probably more well known for my Star Wars tattoos more than anything else.
Oh, cool. Is that how you know Josh? Josh is a Star Wars tattoo guy too.
Sorry, say that again. My phone kind of went a bit funny then.
Is that how you know Josh Bodwell?
It is. Yep, I do know Josh Bodwell from we met through one of our buddies, Chris 51. They came over to Australia and did a few pop culture tattoo events over here for sort of they did the Walker Stalker Con, which is a sort of much like sort of Comic-Con and all those other events just based around The Walking Dead. So they came over for that, and we had a tattoo zone there, and we all met that way. And I've since been over to the States, I think it was late 2018, and sort of hung out with those guys. Me, Josh sort of did a few guest spots along the way and whatnot. So we're quite good friends now. So hopefully when travel resumes, I'll be able to get back over and hang out with those guys again and do some more pop culture tattoos. That's for sure. But yeah, pop culture is my thing. So pop culture art jam. That's the plan. I think most people in some way, shape, or form have a link to pop culture. There's always something that someone loves, whether it's from their childhood or, I've probably got more into pop culture the older I've got. I mean, I grew up in the 80s and 90s, so there's plenty of things to be fans of. But it's been nice to be able to sort of grow in that scene. And I think, sorry.
Is Mad Max pop culture?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think pop culture, the best thing about pop culture is it is probably more diverse than what most people think of. I think a lot of people straight away go to nerds and all that sort of stuff. But I think everyone has, whether you're into sports, whether you're into art, music, video games, you name it, it all sort of comes under that umbrella, and it gives us all a link, which is cool.
Yeah, I think one thing that's interesting about pop culture is how people interpret it, because you are absorbing it and processing it at really like formative years pretty often of your life. So when I think I was born in 1976, so when I think about the late 80s, mid-late 80s or early 90s, I had a very kind of probably particular view of the world, and the way I interpreted the movies and music and things like that at that point would have a real influence on the way that I might present them as a professional artist today. And that adds it's like such a soup, like such a crazy stew of stuff,
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what's great about it. I mean, and I guess that's the whole idea of the art jam is we're going to set a theme and see what people bring to the party. So it's going to be a massive hangout for artists all over the world. Give us a chance to reconnect while we're sort of locked down and travel's not sort of a thing. So we can all get on there and hopefully pick up some inspiration and some tips and tricks as to how everyone goes about their artwork. And I think kind of into pop culture is a really cool way of doing it.
Oh yeah. And now what kind of mediums are you using? Are you just going with all the mediums? Are you trying to steer people in a particular direction? And as far as like the pop theme, or everyone's just kind of going into the different direction? Because pop could be like comedy or horror, right? I mean, it's pretty open.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. So the first event, hopefully, which is hopefully one of many. The first one, I've kept it pretty broad. I've literally just set the theme at pop culture, and people can work across any medium they like. So, I mean, there's a lot of styles that I don't particularly do that well in terms of a medium. There's lots of things that I don't sort of pretend to be too strong on, but I'd really be keen on learning a lot more. So it gives me the chance to be able to pick up a few things, and hopefully everybody else can as well. So this first event's more about bringing people closer together. So I really don't mind. I'll be working on an oil painting, just a little simple one, but I would really like to see other people bring, totally different styles to the board. So whether it's, digital sculpture, some ZBrush work, or, working on Procreate, or, setting up a camera and working on an oil painting, a watercolor, pencil work, you name it. I think it's a good opportunity to sort of set a broader theme and really have a look at, everyone's different styles, and sort of pick everyone's brains about how they go about what they do. And then, it all goes well, we'll start to narrow it down in sort of some future events and start to set some more specific themes and see what people can sort of come up with, which would be really cool.
One of the fun things about doing like all of these things is that when we go back into the real world, clearly all of a sudden you can bring all of those skills into it. So
absolutely,
like jams at the actual conventions is fun.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah, I think, on our end, it was a matter, a lot of this stuff was kind of done out of necessity because we weren't doing a lot of things in person. So we're solving some technical problems, logistic problems that we probably wouldn't have ever dealt with otherwise. And a lot of those things are now going to be tools that we'll use going forward, because not only have we solved a lot of technical problems, but we've gotten people used to like hanging out and making drawings together, whether it's finding commonalities, making drawings together virtually. So the people are used to experiencing it and doing it, and then people like us are getting used to presenting it and making it happen. So I think it's one of those kind of exponential, one of those things that kind of builds on itself. It's like one of the true kind of great things that comes out of a pretty crazy situation.
I mean, I'm ecstatic that there's just more people that actually engage with it, right? Because we've been streaming out for a long ass time, and always success. But like all of a sudden, obviously since COVID, it's like people will actually now have to watch. People are now used to getting on their phone to watch things. What do I say? I'm starting to say, you could watch this from the comfort of your own home or phone.
Yeah,
it's like home.
Yeah.
No one's ever heard of that. Home phone.
Make it up. That's what we're.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great opportunity.
At that tattoo shop, that shop is killer.
Yeah.
You must have worked really hard. I mean, tell us a story about how you got there. It's sick.
This shop?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm at the Black Mark, and it's a cool little space. I like it. So we're a little private studio in the sort of northern suburbs of Melbourne, and I think I've been here for 4 years now.
But how did you land it? I'm interested in the story of how you got there.
I applied, actually. I had been tattooed by the studio owner, or one of the studio owners. There's three, but I've been tattooed by Mick Squires in the past. We didn't know each other more so as tattooists. In fact, for a long time, I didn't tell him I was a tattooist because I was probably a bit scared back in the day. But well, we're a similar age and we're great mates now. But I just in my previous studio, I just started to specialize in pop culture a lot more. And when these guys advertised, they're looking for someone. Another one of the guys, Benjamin Lucas, who's since moved on. He's now in Greece. He left and they were advertising, and I thought I would just literally, it's nothing better than just taking a gamble, or just throwing my hat in the ring more than taking a gamble. I just wanted to sort of see where I sat. There's some amazing artists here, and I've learnt incredible amounts of knowledge and skills since starting here. So it's been amazing. But yeah, I applied and I came in for an interview, and sort of loosely knew some of the guys just from, conventions and things like that. Just sort of the industry, everyone sort of, especially in Australia where it's quite a bit smaller. The convention circuit's fairly small as well. And there's something I thoroughly enjoy doing. So I sort of knew those guys loosely, but, just applied and was lucky enough to get a spot. And yeah, I love it.
So expand on that a little bit with the convention circuit being smaller in Australia. How we've exploded in my tattoo career. We've exploded to what it was probably less than 20 shows a year nationally when I first started to 10 shows a weekend whenever it's a non-pandemic weekend.
Could be up to 20.
Yeah, right. Compare and contrast that a little bit. Non-pandemic at its peak, how many shows are in Australia and New Zealand, if you even consider? I assume that people go between the two. I don't know.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, people definitely do. There's probably, I think there's maybe 3 or 4 in New Zealand, which is quite good for quite a small population. And there's some fantastic shows over there. Some of my favorite shows are in New Zealand. They're a little bit, they remind me of sort of the old days. I mean, I haven't been tattooing for a hell of a lot of time. I've been tattooing for about 8 or 9 years, but I certainly sort of kicked around the tattoo industry, going to conventions and things early on. And they remind me of those smaller, more intimate shows where there's still plenty of people kicking around, but there might only be 80 artists, not 250 artists. And it's just nice. So the New Zealand shows are really cool. New Plymouth and Wellington in particular are great. But they're the ones that I've been to. I can't really speak for the other ones. I know some of the other guys here have been to some of them and also think they're great, but I think you can't go wrong going to them. But there's probably about 4 there. And in Australia, it's in a little bit of a funny place at the moment. There used to be 1, 2, 3, sort of 3 little independent shows across Australia, one in South Australia, one in Queensland, and an independent one in Melbourne. A lot of those have sort of been bought up by a bigger company that used to run sort of 4 or 5 events a year in some of the major cities, major states as well. And they've sort of come about and sort of bought most of the bigger ones out. So now there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4. There's probably 5 or 6 big shows. There's 2 in Melbourne every year. There's 2 in Sydney. They're under a different name, but they're run by the same people. So by the time you got those 4, then there's one in Western Australia, one in Queensland. So yeah. There's not a huge amount. They are getting more and more expensive every year to do. Insurances and things are pretty high over here. So booth costs are phenomenal amounts of money, unfortunately, which makes it quite, it's less enticing to do. You've really got to work all weekend.
Wait, you mean, I'm not sure I understand. So you're talking about insurance just to be a tattooer and run a shop, or it's expensive to insure a big tattoo event, or both? Yeah,
more the later. I mean, both really. I mean, tattoo studio insurance is fairly expensive, as I'm sure it is worldwide, but event insurance is quite high, at least to my knowledge, from sort of loosely speaking to some of the guys that have been involved in the events over the years. But yeah, obviously a lot of the conventions over here aren't necessarily run by tattooists. They're run by events companies. They had been, and they've been bought out.
I went over to a tattoo convention there on the Gold Coast. I don't know, it was a while ago, but I remember, well, for one, the first night I got bounced out. I couldn't go to the pub with everybody because I had shorts. And they're like, you can't have shorts. So then I went back and I got my pants on, and I went back and they were like, you can't come in yet. You got tattoos. I was like, could you have told me that before I went and changed?
Yeah.
The next night was out of control. We were at the after hours party at the party where the convention told everybody to go. And I swear this is true. You could ask them. Nico and fucking Tony Ramel were like showing off each other's tattoos to each other, and the bouncer comes over and is like, "You can't show off your tattoos." And it was like, this is a fucking tattoo convention after party. Like, what?
How long ago was this?
It was 10 years, maybe.
Wow.
Was this Gold Coast, did you say?
What was that? It was Gold Coast. Yeah. I meant to get down to the Melbourne show.
Wait,
but
is that still a thing on the Gold Coast?
A little bit. They've had a lot of problems over the years with bikies and gangs with heavily tattooed on the Gold Coast, and unfortunately they sort of group everyone together. It's something that the Australian Tattooist Guild over here is more or less a sort of a union of sorts for the tattooists over here, which has been great. Have been working on in terms of being, I guess, a liaison between our industry and the government to try and not loop every tattoo studio and every place in Australia into that world. It's the licensing is very different in some states compared to others, and Gold Coast tends to be one of the strictest. So yeah, there is a lot of rules when it comes to bars, clubs, things like that over there, where tattoos are looked at as being okay, well, just because you're a tattooist, that guy over there is a outlaw bikie and he's got tattoos, so we can't let you in and not let him in. So they just, it's a bit, I find it all a bit crazy, but that's more the government side of things, trying to drive that sort of bikie mentality out of Gold Coast. And yeah,
I mean, it's tattoos the way that you guys are doing the tattoos that make the change. When you're doing awesome
exactly.
people, and then people see the awesome tattoos and they want awesome tattoos, then that is what makes things change.
I don't know
exactly right.
Tattoos it takes for Australians and New Zealanders to do before they change that, but I feel like that's one of the hotbeds where like every tattooer I see from Australia and New Zealand is incredible. I don't ever see, anytime I'm flipping through Instagram and I see something awesome, I click on it. It's like a Russian or an Australian, it seems like.
Yeah, there's plenty of good, awesome Russians.
That's pretty sick too. But in Korea, I think it's still get fined if you're not a doctor. So I don't know whether they just eat the fines or they run it on the ground, but some of the tattoos are pretty, I mean, they're pretty awesome, but it feels like they're like, still kind of,
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a pretty big underground scene there. I believe we get quite a few Korean guest artists and stuff come over here to Australia, and I worked with some for a while. And yeah, I believe it's not illegal to have tattoos, but it's illegal to get them. So once you've got them, they can't do anything about it. But yeah, as long as you're not caught getting one, you're fine. So yeah, quite underground, I think.
Yeah.
cool. Well, we definitely could probably talk for a long time, but we actually have a time to talk for a long time.
Yeah.
This is the we're almost at the end of our hour. Is there any other questions or wrap up that we should hit before?
Nothing.
Sure.
I didn't know. I'm always behind on what's happening in the world of reinventing the tattoo because there are 100 things happening a day. Tell me a little bit more, about what you're doing, the pop culture art jam, and when it happens. And maybe everyone except for me knows this, but I'm gonna ask anyways.
Yeah. So open event to whoever wants to join in. Obviously, it will be on the 12th of October in Australia, so at about midday. So I think that's about 8 or 9 p.m. on the West Coast in the US. Lauren will probably confirm that.
It's a little later on the West Coast, but yeah, about 10 o'clock on the East Coast for you guys.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So yeah, just an open event. We've got some guests coming on with me who some of them are pop culture sort of artists, some aren't. And we're going to see what they bring to the table. Everyone's got the theme of pop culture. They're going to chip away and work away at some art. We're going to talk about what they're doing, how they're doing it, and sort of a little bit about their tattooing as well. And then we're going to open it up to everyone. So anyone who joins in, they can show us what they're working on. We can pick their brain about how they go about what they're doing, and just have a good old time. So just a big open art session, big art jam, and just based around the pop culture theme. So should be a bunch of fun.
Awesome. I almost, I have to say, I hate to say it, but I like everything about Zoom except for the logo that they put in the corner. They make it so easy to do all this stuff. It's like amazing. We could like literally Zoom with people all around the world. If they just didn't put their logo in the corner, it'd be perfect.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I know that we spoke a little bit, I met you through Raw Pigments, and then we spoke, and then the idea kind of came out with a guy had done a couple different evening sessions and was on the Tattoo Weekly a couple weeks ago with guys over there in Glorious Hoko, Adrian Dominic. So it's been cool to get to see, how you guys are feeling, how you're managing to connect with the rest of the world. So I'm really looking forward to this.
That'd be
pretty
awesome.
cool stuff.
It was really awesome. Hey, before you run off, I forgot about the Inglorious Hoko. He was also a New Zealand tattooer, and he didn't know my favorite YouTube painter, who happens to be from New Zealand. Do you know Andrew Tischler? Do you follow his YouTube channel?
Ooh, I don't, but I will now. Yeah, I'll ask him about it. See if he's onto it though, because Hoko used to work here with us at our studio for a while, so we're good buddies.
That was my first time meeting him. Super cool guy, but we were talking painting, and there's this guy, Andrew Tischler, that has a YouTube channel. It's really a well-produced YouTube channel. And he's out of New Zealand, and he does a lot of plein air painting. And so every time he goes to a New Zealand landscape, I feel like he's on another planet. It just blows me away what the country looks like, at least where
pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So
I will definitely check him out.
I wanted to ask too, Dan, before we cut off here. So what's your plan when you do get back? What's your kind of like plan for execution on getting back with your clients? Are you maintaining conversation, whenever the things go back to normal? Yeah,
so it's probably the most difficult thing in terms of like from a business perspective, the constant date changes of when we go back, and we might come back for 2 weeks and go back into lockdown again. It's been very stop-start. So I've just recently swapped to an online booking system. So at the moment, I guess I run a bit of a mailing list and just keep people informed, drop them a line every week or two, and everyone gets that email just to keep them informed of where we're at as a business. I mean, most people sort of know anyway. we don't really get any news before anyone else or anything like that. But just keeping them informed of when it looks like we're coming back. And I've just recently started rebooking people via online link. So I basically send that out in groups now based on who's sort of been waiting the longest. And they can just follow that link and jump on and reschedule their appointment to the proposed start back date, which at this stage is the 5th of November. So trying to just get as prepared as I can. Most of my work at the moment is a lot of ongoing stuff anyway. So it's fairly easier. There's always new tattoos I've got to start, obviously, so I'm trying to be prepared with those as I can be. But that's sort of what you can do. You can't really get too far ahead of yourself at this stage. So just keeping our customers informed on sort of when we're starting, and then any protocols on what they've got to do when they come in. There's masks wearing, and check-in codes and all sorts of things. So just try and stay up to date with that and keep them informed via a mailing list, and then get them rescheduled when we can. Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Fingers
right
crossed.
on. So it has been awesome hearing from you. I know I can speak for all of us who have joined in and watched this conversation. Thank you for the update.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Jake, Gabe, is there anything else we should hit on before we break off tonight?
No, we're in the middle of a BYOB here, so I think we're going to go somebody who BYOB'd.
Yeah, we're gonna find more B.
All right, you guys, thank you so much. We
Thank
will
you,
see you
guys.
again on the Tattoo Weekly next Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Awesome. And we have decided we are going to do this every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern
That's
Yeah.
say
to the end of the year.
to the end of the year, and then we'll decide.
All right, you guys.
You're doing this. Got it. Thank you. Great to meet you. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.